20,000 years ago, during the Ice Age, the people of this frozen world already knew the dangers of darkness. But on one night, the sky itself suddenly turned red.
Then something even stranger appeared. Above the mountains, a single light moved silently across the sky, while every animal around them seemed to notice it.
Then the light changed direction. It was no longer crossing the sky. It was coming down. And whatever waited beyond those mountains had just arrived. When the red light finally disappeared, the tribe thought the danger had passed. Then the elder noticed something in the fresh snow. Footprints that belonged to nothing they knew.
The tracks were far too deep for a human. Yet whatever made them was walking toward the mountains. Then the ground beneath their feet began to vibrate. The tribe ran for shelter, but the animals were already fleeing the same place, as if something in those mountains had awakened. Inside the shelter, they tried to convince themselves it was only a storm. Then the fire began to move, even though the air around them had gone completely still. Then the animals did something the humans had never seen before. They all turned away from the mountain, as a strange blue light moved silently across the snow. Before sunrise, two hunters followed the tracks toward the mountains. But halfway there, they found another trail, and this one was even stranger.
Beyond the ridge, they discovered a valley hidden from the storm, and beneath its frozen surface, something was still glowing.
Beneath the ice was something perfectly smooth, something that did not look like stone, and every few seconds, it seemed to pulse with its own light. Whatever was buried beneath the ice had survived for far longer than the tribe could imagine. And the hunters began to wonder, was this connected to the red sky? Then, as the sun rose, the impossible happened. A beam of blue light rose from beneath the ice, and every animal in the valley ran. The light was gone, but the mystery remained. Then something enormous moved inside the mist, and the hunters realized they were no longer alone. The footsteps were getting closer. Then the hunters found a footprint that belonged to no Ice Age animal they knew, and it had only 3 enormous toes.
Then, through the fog, they saw it. It was tall, silent, and unmistakably not human, and it wasn't attacking them. It was simply watching.
The creature finally stepped into the open. Its eyes reflected the blue light beneath the ice, as if the two had always belonged together. The stranger wasn't hunting them, it was showing them something. Beneath the ice was not a cave, but something built. As the ice began to melt, they finally saw its true scale. It wasn't a rock, it was an enormous artificial structure buried beneath the valley. Then the ice cracked open. Beneath it was a machine unlike anything these humans could have imagined, and it was still active. When the alien touched the surface, the machine responded. And inside its strange symbols, the hunters saw something that looked like a map of the stars. The map pointed somewhere else. The alien wasn't showing them where it came from. It was showing them where they needed to go.
The alien led them into the mountains. But there, among the tracks of mammoths and wolves, they found the same 3-toed footprints, leading straight into the darkness.
It led inside the mountain. But this wasn't an ordinary cave. Hidden beneath the rock were traces of something artificial, something much older than the tribe itself. Deep inside the mountain, they found a chamber that looked partly natural and partly built. Then the alien activated something buried beneath the floor. Beyond the chamber was a passage they had never seen before. And something enormous had moved inside it, something even the alien seemed to fear. The alien wasn't afraid of the humans, it was afraid of what was deeper inside. Then, in the darkness, 2 enormous eyes opened. Then the creature stepped into the light. It wasn't a mammoth, a wolf, or any Ice Age animal they knew. It looked like something that should have vanished millions of years before. But the strangest part wasn't the creature itself. The alien made a single gesture, and the dinosaur became calm. Were they working together? Then the cave showed them something impossible. The red sky wasn't just a strange night. It was part of a much older story.
The images suggested something had entered the atmosphere that night. But was it a natural object or something controlled? The vision vanished, but something had awakened beneath the mountain, and now the alien, the dinosaur, and the humans were all moving toward it. And under the frozen river, something was moving, while fragments of the same strange material lay beside footprints that looked impossibly ancient. Suddenly, the frozen river began to break apart. Something was moving underneath them, and the entire cavern was starting to collapse.
Something enormous was beneath the ice. The aliens stopped it for only a moment, just long enough for them to escape.
It was following them. The alien created a barrier, but whatever was behind it was strong enough to shake the mountain. Then the sky changed again. The same red glow returned, and the alien looked up as if it had been waiting for this moment. The red sky was returning, but this time, the hunters saw something else. There wasn't just one visitor watching the valley.
More visitors appeared along the ridge, but they weren't attacking, they were waiting, while every animal in the valley began moving toward the same place. Every creature stopped. Mammoths, wolves, even the dinosaurs. Something was calling them here, and the spacecraft was finally waking up. The machine was communicating with the sky, but something else was happening beneath their feet. The mountain was beginning to move.
The mountain finally broke. An avalanche rushed toward the valley, and the humans had only seconds to escape. The avalanche passed. The valley survived. But then the silence began, and the alien left one final message in the snow.
The valley erupted into chaos. Strange predators came from every direction. Even the dinos turned against them. But the alien raised its hand, and every creature suddenly stopped.
Most of the creatures stopped, but one dinosaur resisted. It charged through the energy field, and the alien had to face it directly.
The alien wasn't fighting the dinosaur, it was holding it back from something worse. Then the ground beneath the spacecraft began to glow.
The entire valley became a giant circle of light. The spacecraft was rising from the ice, and whatever it was about to release had never been seen by human eyes. Then the red sky began to rain fire. Burning fragments tore through the atmosphere, striking the frozen valley, and the spacecraft suddenly came alive. The visitors weren't attacking Earth, they were protecting it. One by one, the burning objects changed course, as the spacecraft sent a signal into the red sky. Then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the chaos ended. The red sky faded, the valley became still, and the visitors prepared to leave. They left without a sound, but before they disappeared, they left something behind. A symbol the humans could not understand. But the symbol wasn't a goodbye. It was a message, and it pointed back toward the mountain. The humans never discovered what the symbol meant. But deep beneath the mountain, something was still awake.
The visitors were gone. The valley was safe again, but deep beneath the ice. Perhaps the visitors we saw that night were not.
The visitors were finally leaving. Their technology restored the valley, but they left one final mystery behind. They were left with only one clue, a map, a warning, or perhaps an invitation. They had no way to know which.
The aliens were gone. The valley survived, never knowing what the visitors had left beneath the ice. But if those lights were a message, who were they waiting for?